We only have
Hi.
5 participants.
Everybody else will be on YouTube, Samri. Hi, Samri.
Hi.
Yeah,
So how will
everybody
you be
else will
able
be on YouTube.
to see the participant number?
No, the others will be on YouTube. We are
So
the
Now,
ones
those
that
on
now,
will be on.
YouTube,
now,
let
now,
us inform us how many.
now,
Jamil,
Samri, we are on
can you
YouTube.
check the
Please
participants?
start.
Huh?
Yeah, now it's working. Yeah.
It's working?
Let's wait for Demilish summary and then we will
Okay,
start.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Dear Diane, you can start now. We are now live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
You
I'll
can
invite
start.
Samri. I'll invite Samri to go ahead and start. Samri.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Thank
hear
you very
Thank
much.
you.
It's great having you, the 2 prominent Toastmaster, Atul and Harry. It's a great pleasure having you, and I have no doubt that this evening we are going to have an amazing session. I ask Diani to introduce Harry while I do Atul. Back to you, Diani.
Thank you very much, Samri. Samrawit is the convener of the Toastmasters East African Conference 2024-2025 that will take place in Addis Ababa in May 2025. So the dates are May 15th to May 17th, 2025. So for those that do not know about TEACON, just a brief about TEACON. The Toastmasters East African Conference, which we commonly call TEACON, brings together Toastmasters from different countries in and around East Africa. Right now, we have 10 countries under this umbrella. So we have Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Burundi, Mayotte, South Sudan, and I am missing 2 of them. So if anybody remembers the other 2 countries, please feel free to let me know who they are. But yes, so we have now we had 6 countries and now we've expanded to 10 countries under the Eastern African banner. So this is very exciting. We keep expanding, we keep growing. And interestingly enough, Mr. Harry Karanja, DTM, that's Distinguished Toastmaster, was one of the pioneers of Toastmasters in East Africa. So I'm really excited to introduce Harry. Harry Karanja is a lawyer by profession. He's a visionary leader and a distinguished Toastmaster. Now, when we talk about a distinguished Toastmaster, this is the highest level. It's like the PhD of Toastmasters. Okay. So Harry has the unique ability to combine his legal expertise with leadership and innovation, and we've seen it a lot in Toastmasters. He has served as the district director of District 114. Now, District 114 is the one that we all fall under within Eastern Africa, and he was the director of District 114 in 2019-2020. During this time, his efforts led to the district's growth by 50%. So Toastmasters grew by 50% within this time, making it the 3rd best performing district globally among 120 districts. In his tenure as the director, he spearheaded the establishment of 42 new clubs, 42. He has helped organize several annual Toastmasters conferences in District 114 since 2014. And let me just mention, my club is Early Birds Toastmasters Club, and Harry is Early Birds 101. He's the founder of Early Birds and our first president. In the legal field, Harry heads a fully paperless law firm, Harry Karanja and Company Advocates, and has led various groundbreaking projects, such as the publication of the laws of Kenya. Apologies, I have a dog. Such as the publication of the laws of Kenya online, now hosted on kenyalaw.org. He's a passionate advocate for access to justice, and Harry is especially committed to the growth of the small claims court and AI for legal professionals as tools for improving the ease of doing business in Kenya. So, Harry, welcome. That is quite a profile. So it's really good to have you here. How are you today, Harry?
I'm very well, and thank you for that very gracious introduction.
You're welcome. Karibu sana. I think I will now invite Samri to introduce Atul to us so that we first get to know our guests before we start putting them on the spot with questions. Atul, are you there? Ah, he's there. Okay. Please go ahead, Samri.
Excellent. Wonderful introduction, Diani. It is indeed my great pleasure to introduce Atul Sankara, whom I only know virtually. We have never met with both, but we have been communicating virtually. Atul is basically Indian. He enjoyed the best of the two worlds, the busy streets of India and the tropical island and beaches of Tanzania. Professionally, Atul is in business, both in construction and real estate, both in India and Tanzania. Atul, by heart, is an environmentalist, and he believes that we should have sustainable as the core value of every human being to save for Earth. Socially, he loves life and loves party with a great company. He enjoys good vibe. And one thing, he also likes cigar and wine. He is also an active and avid Toastmaster. He is extremely passionate about Toastmaster, and in fact, he claims that Toastmaster is part of his DNA. And currently, Atul is the president of Dar Toastmaster Club. And he also claimed and witnessed that Toastmaster has played a key role in his leadership journey. And one thing that about Atul is his glass has never been full and will never be full, because he said he keeps on learning in every meeting he attends. Additional point for Atul is he's also a board member of the Tanzanite CEO Roundtable. Not only that, he is also an executive director of MBRC, which is a German-based NGO in Tanzania, deals with sustainability. Atul, you have so many things in your plate, but you do it extremely well. One thing that I would like to ask Atul, if I may start the question, is that you have so many things to do as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a Toastmaster, and of course, also as having a family, as a father, as a husband. Where do you get all this time to accomplish in such an excellent manner. Not only that, you also enjoy party, right? So please share with us how we can manage our time, because I'm sure I'll be able to learn from you on time management. We all have what, 24 hours? I don't think that you only have 24 hours at all. Please.
Thank you, Madam Samrawit, for the beautiful introduction. I think even my parents also never introduced me in such a way when I was born to this earth. Well, thank you. I feel honored. Yes, what I believe is when we commit, whether it is when we commit in life, so I commit by heart, is whether it's free or for example, exchange of services or for anything. But if I get benefit or not, but I believe commitment is the key tool. And I believe in doing actions now, but not later. So I want to complete things as early as possible. That really helps me to save the time. For example, I've been, for example, I've been told by Diane to do something today. So I'll make sure it is done today itself so that I don't carry and prolonging the things for tomorrow. And then I read my messages again and then see what has to be done. Instead, if it has to be completed, I wish to complete it. And I believe in problem solving approach rather than just throwing the ball and the blame game. I believe in the problem solving approach. And I believe in time management and the procrastination, because we have to make sure that we don't procrastinate. And time is money is what I believe, and time is life. Example, I don't give any of my tasks more than 5 minutes for that, so I make sure it's being done within 5 minutes. So in those terms, I can really manage many tasks a day, and I make sure I write my priorities, non-priorities, and I really follow the American system of time management. And I think that's where I've been able to manage and really find time. And I sometimes feel bored. I'm having more time. Thank you.
Samri, you are on mute. Samri, you are muted.
Thank you very much, Atul. That was an excellent way of saying it on how you manage time. And I like what you said about procrastination, which most of us are hinder us from going forward. Back to you, Diane.
All right, thank you. Harry, are you there? It would be good to see your face.
Right
There
here.
we are. Okay, fantastic. Now, Harry, I think I do have a question for you, but let me spotlight you so that everybody can see you very clearly. Okay, there we are. All right. Now, Harry, you have been a Toastmaster for a long time, I believe you, once a Toastmaster, always a Toastmaster. So you've been a Toastmaster for a long time. You were extremely active within Toastmasters throughout the years, and you attended almost all the events that anyone could attend at Toastmasters. What were your biggest takeaways from the Toastmasters events, from the Toastmasters events that you attended? And what would you say to someone who is not sure if they should really spend that extra dollar on flights, accommodation, and all of that for the TEACON conference ticket? What would you, and that's part of the reason that we are here. Why should we keep attending meetings and attending events such as the Toastmasters East African Conference?
All right. Thank you. I mean, let me start by just giving a shout out to my Toastmasters Club, because I am a Toastmaster, the Hill Toastmasters. and you're right. I mean, in the Toastmasters journey, you cannot call yourself a Toastmaster unless you take part in the events, because the events are really, I would say, the cream on top of the delicious Toastmasters drink, and none so more than the annual Toastmasters event. I've been fortunate to attend and see the evolution of this event or the annual event over several years. And just to give you a story, I mean, it's not always that you have the resources, all the resources that you need to attend these events, but they can be a real game changer. And I'll give an example of an international event that I attended together with my predecessor, Rosie Rana DTM. And this event was actually held in Portugal. At that time, District 114 had not yet been incorporated as a district. It had not yet been given that status as a district. So we used to be called a territorial council during that time. And one of the limitations of a territorial council was that we were not being given any external funding. So we're not able to collect, as the district now does, and receive funding from Toastmasters International, which meant that pretty much everything we had to do at this event, we had to fund from our pocket. Okay, luckily I can say they did pay for our air ticket, but that's all they paid for. So everything else, which hotel you stayed in, what you ate, all that came from your pocket. And I recall that on the first day we arrived at the event, because it was, I think, a 3-day event, we had made the assumption that once we were in the hotel, everything would be catered for, the food would be catered for. And to our shock and surprise, we were locked out of the breakfast room. You're seeing all your fellow Toastmasters who have been paid for going in and having breakfast. And since we were not on the guest lists, we were locked out. And that time, the hotel buffet was so expensive. So we were just so lucky that there was a Toastmaster from Saudi Arabia who offered us some dates. And that's how our first day of the first event started. We were just eating dates. We were filling ourselves with some very, very tasty dates. But, what that tells me, and what that should tell everyone, is that the most important thing about these events is not the hotel you'll stay in. It's not even the food that you'll eat or you refuse to eat, but rather it's the kind of relationships that you will build. Because through that initial first interaction, and this Toastmaster who gave us those dates went on to be the regional advisor for District 114. I'll leave that as homework for you to guess who this could be. But it started, it was a beginning of a beautiful relationship and friendship. And that's what I used to love most about attending these events. You would meet new people, create new friendships, interact across different cultures, different backgrounds. And through these relationships and through managing these situations, you gain something which is not talked often about in Toastmasters, which is that leadership aspect of interpersonal relationships. So I can tell anyone who is on the fence about attending these events, you have no idea what amazing magic awaits you when you attend. And I mean, for me, there were obviously so many other big and great takeaways, but I would say that would be the first one I would think about.
All right. So the relationships that you form, especially at the breakfast table where you're given dates for breakfast. You guys were forced to go on it was a forced diet.
Oh, yes.
So let me get this right. The conference that you're talking about, is it the international conference, the International Toastmasters Conference?
So it wasn't the International Toastmasters Conference. It's something they call mid-year training, which is attended between December and January of every Toastmasters year.
Got you.
But it is similar because it brings people from across the region to one venue.
All right. All right. Oh, that's exciting. All right. Thank you. Did you eventually have proper meals after that, or did you starve to death and eat dates like you in Ramadan?
Now, so what happened? I mean, it got to the point whereby, you know, those bowls they have with candies and apples, and during the breaks they tell you, okay, you know, get something. And I mean, we were stuffing those things in our jacket because we didn't know when our next would come. But thankfully, the I mean, we were able to raise that concern, okay, through both the people we met, to the Toastmasters CEO who was present during that training. And thankfully, from there on, you know, they incorporated our team into their budget. So we didn't suffer any more lack of meals after that.
Oh, fantastic. Thank goodness. You're alive to tell the tale. Thank you so much, Harry. Thank you. There'll be more questions on that coming up a bit later. But for now, let me give Samrawit the floor. Samrawit, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Diani. Harry, you are a renowned lawyer. And one thing that I like about Toastmaster is that the diversification of professionals in involvement. And that professional certainly will make a difference for Toastmasters. In Ethiopia, Toastmasters face a major problem to register as a Toastmaster. If I may share the experience of Rotary, we had the same problem of registration Rotary, and to have our own account was not easy. Whenever we want a sponsorship, it's the name used to be on the name of individuals, but finally we made it, and Rotary is now a legal club that is recognized within Ethiopia. Right now, one of the hindrance for, I believe, for Toastmaster, the growth of Toastmaster in Rotary is the lawful registration of clubs. There is no club in Addis, I think. This goes for other countries also. Toastmaster is not registered as an institution within the country, being illegal. You, as one of the prominent lawyer, knowing the in and out of regulation, legalization, how would you be able to help those countries, to become a legal one, like Kenya or elsewhere? I'd like to have your opinion on this, because this is a handicap for many of the clubs in Ethiopia, and I think it goes for other countries too. Harry, may I have your thoughts on this, please? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Samrawit. And I fully understand the problem, the challenges faced in Ethiopia and possibly other countries regarding registration of Toastmasters as an entity. Now, I will say, however, that I suspect that although it is a legal problem, it's not only a legal problem. Okay, it's also, I'll call it a numbers problem. Okay, and why do I say this? Now, I was fortunate enough to engage with Toastmasters from Ethiopia from, I would say, almost 10 years ago. I first met Joseph Fantu online. And I mean, Joseph was also a key proponent of the District 114. He spearheaded the Toastmasters in Ethiopia, getting in touch and growing together with Toastmasters in other East African countries. And one thing which I found amazing about what Toastmasters in Ethiopia was doing at that time is it had the oldest Toastmasters club. I think Blue Nile Toastmasters had the oldest history. I think it was going back into the 1950s at that time. And there were still 4 clubs which had managed to remain active and appear in the Toastmasters dashboard. And this ability to remain acknowledged by Toastmasters, to be able to pay the membership dues despite the challenging regulatory framework, especially regarding foreign exchange, showed me that the people behind Toastmasters in Ethiopia were able to find workarounds to their problem. Of course, I recognize this issue because I wrote to Toastmasters about it, specifically about Ethiopia. We had several exchanges back and forth. And I mean, I can tell you a story of how I participated in alleviating this problem, because one time we traveled a number of Toastmasters to Ethiopia, and we came with hard currency because we understood that getting hard currency is a challenge. So we were able to exchange hard currency, which was available in our debit cards, with Ethiopian currency in exchange for bringing some goods from Kenya as we're coming. So I understand that sometimes you have to do a workaround, but why I said it's a numbers problem, and going back to that, at the end of the day, Toastmasters is more likely to listen to you when you have numbers on your side. Okay. You have mentioned that Rotary has been able to get registration, and I am aware that there are other organizations which manage to get the same. But they'll only listen to you when you can demonstrate numbers. And Ethiopia, I would say, is in a fantastic position. It is the largest East African country in terms of population. It has an amazing young population, people interested in learning and growing in the English language. So it offers an amazing opportunity. So my encouragement is, if you want Toastmasters to listen to you, you come and you show them we have the numbers, we have the potential to grow. We have been struggling and growing despite these challenges. And just the same way Rotary has succeeded, I think Toastmasters will also succeed. So that's what I would say. In terms of the legal regulatory framework, those, I think, the political considerations, economic considerations that might make it longer for those to change. So what you have within your power to control is the numbers. Grow your membership, struggle, however difficult it is, talk to your East African neighbors, see how they can help you get the currency you need to pay for the dues. And as you grow, as your numbers increase, then you have a platform and a voice which you can speak to Toastmasters with, and hopefully you can get to the next step.
Thank you very much, Harry. But what I wanted to make as a point is, it's not the number, because there are very limited number associations that with the higher number, they were not even able to register. What I would like to hear from you is, if, for example, any other African countries with a limited number of clubs register, what will be the intake that we get from them? What is the experience that will be able to have the registration? The thing is, you have touched it, that the political situation, regulation is also another hindrance for our registration. But believe me, it is not the number of clubs that matters for the registration. How did other African countries incorporate their legalization of registration with their clubs? Can you share this point?
Okay, let me speak about Kenya, because that is the one I have information about. So I'll start by saying the clubs which I was part of had one of two types of registrations. Either they were registered as a society. As a society, societies are legal entities that allow for people engaged in a common activity to come together for non-profit purposes. So they could be registered as a society. And I remember my first club, Nairobi Toastmasters Club, was registered as a society, which is relatively straightforward registration in Kenya. Alternatively, the clubs themselves had no registration. Okay, so they They were a group of people meeting under a name, but they had no registration of that name. They were able to do this because the only interaction that Toastmasters needs when it comes to payment, I mean, there was no interaction that these clubs had to do with the government that made them require to be registered with the government. So their relationship was directly with Toastmasters, and Toastmasters, being a US registered entity, recognizes what we call unincorporated entities. So you can just be a club, a group of people who meet under a certain name, and they will recognize you without you needing to be registered with the government. So that's the Kenyan experience I can speak of. And this means that, other African countries will have to consider whether they can proceed as an unincorporated entity or they have to register with the government in some way or another. I hope I've answered your question, Samrawit.
What do you mean when I'm not clear on, you say they have to register with the government? You mean as a club to register?
Yes, as a club. So the government has certain laws and regulations
Correct.
for people who come together and want to be known under a certain name. So in Kenya, many of the clubs were taking the route of registering as an association. So this is a form of a legal non-profit entity which is recognized by the government. So that means you have a certificate of registration and you have to provide, you have to meet certain rules according to the law, like meet every year, elect officials, and you have to file these minutes and the minutes of your annual general meeting with the government. So that's what I mean by registration with the government.
You commented that Ethiopia, it is true, Ethiopia Toastmasters started in 1958. One thing that I would like to underline is, that was during the emperor time. But immediately when the socialist regime came to power, meetings were not allowed. Even Rotary has been banned for some time. So one disadvantage that Ethiopia has is being in a socialist country, and also the change of frequent governments has also decreased the growth of Toastmaster and any other social activities within the country. But as you have said, that's very true. We were the first one, but now when we compare it, we are not. And I'm sure, as you said, with the high growth of youth, I'm sure we'll be able to increase the number of clubs within Ethiopia. Thank you, Harry. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Diani?
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was actually very interesting because these are some of the things that, as a Kenyan, I know that we have had some of these problems, especially with Ethiopian clubs, but I actually never knew the extent of it. So thank you so much for bringing that to light, Samrawit. And thank you, Harry, for answering some of those questions that all of us were not sure about. Now, let's move over to Atul. I'd like now to quickly put Atul on the spotlight here. Hi, Atul.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
You're still with us, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, you are a bubbly personality. Most of us at Toastmasters know you for your bubbly personality, always ready for any party. And believe me, in Addis, I'll be next to you like this. Yeah, because I want that party and bubbly personality to rub off on me. Now, since you
Sure,
are full of life.
at least
Sorry,
I have
what
one,
did you?
at least I have one follower now. So I know that you'll be coming to
Yes,
party
you
with
have
me.
one follower. Exactly. So now the rest can start coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, seeing that you're full of life, laughter, and energy in everything that you do, even at Toastmasters. Now, many of us struggle to keep this kind of fire burning all through the year like you do. What is it about Toastmasters that makes you want to go that extra mile, that always makes you want to say yes, that makes you get up in the morning to fulfill your Toastmasters obligations without fail and with so much enthusiasm? What is it?
Thank you, Diane. Okay, yeah, as you said, it's not only Toastmasters, but I believe I'm having the same enthusiasm even in my business, what I do, because I believe enthusiasm is only the secret in business, is what I feel. So if you don't have enthusiasm, if you don't give energy to your team, if you don't give energy, if you don't be lively in your team, then my team also will fail down. I have to boost them every day, every week. I have to guide them. So that's what I believe, that even though maybe I'm struggling inside or I'm having bad phase, only one thing in life I believe is having emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is really the key. Maybe Hari Karanja has filed a case against me today, right now. But that does not affect me, that does not affect me, my emotions about the meeting today or tomorrow. Yes, that is a problem. Let it be. That emotion should not drive my days and make me depressed. Yes, instead, I would think strategically, how will I sue Hari Karanja from Tanzania to Kenya? And how do I win the case? Maybe he's a big lawyer. And I will also find a more bigger lawyer than Hari Karanja. And how can I really overcome it? And that's how I would think, because all this life is just a journey and nothing is good or bad. So if people understand the emotional intelligence, there would be no politics, no inferiority complex, no issues between the team and even the countries and the people, is what I believe. Because even when you're in a club leadership, politics and the differences make the game. Even when you're part of any team, the politics, differences, or inferiority complex. Maybe one might say, why should I tell him? Why should I say Dian? Or maybe something like that, Or maybe Hari Karanja might say, I'm a DTM. Why should I respond to him? I'm just giving an example. I'm not just uh, targeting anyone. So just giving an example as we have members here. Or maybe Diminesh is telling, why should I respond? I'm the PQD. I don't. I'm the king of the Toastmasters for this year. So it's not me. So, it's just when we learn that emotional intelligence, the self-awareness, self-regulation, and empathy, I think the days will be beautiful. Maybe when you're in relationship or with your parents or with your friends, with your team, even the countries, just because of emotional intelligence, they're having war between two people, the two countries are fighting. I find emotional intelligence is the only secret that keeps me alive, because I don't take anything personally and I just mean it to the me. Thank you.
And that is true. I have interacted with Atul, with you on so many occasions. And yes, you're right. Something happens and you're like, oh, well, let's continue with what we have to do. Then something else happens. Someone says something, okay, and we continue. And I love that attitude. But I guess my actual question, maybe let me phrase it a bit differently, but thank you for that. Let me phrase it a bit differently. A lot of us, when we get into Toastmasters, in our Toastmasters journey, and even in leadership within Toastmasters, other things in life get in the way and we end up experiencing some form of burnout. So we start with, for example, right now I'm co-convener, okay? I was asked to be I was requested and gently coerced to be co-convener not so long ago, okay? So yeah, I'm starting with enthusiasm. I'm excited. There's TEACAST, there's, marketing and everything going on. And then it comes to December, January, and the fire just starts, dimming. So I guess my question is, I haven't seen your fire dim even once. And the reason our fires dim, it's not because we feel that this is not important anymore. It's because life happens. Okay, we have families and life happens, and somehow there's a burnout that comes as you go along. And with you, I haven't really seen that. So what is it that makes you continue at the same enthusiastic and energetic pace all through the year?
Maybe, thank you, Diane, but I think I cannot comment much on that because maybe I'm blessed like that. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe I'm blessed like that because I don't know. I just don't, generally, even if I'm even with a family or with, even if I am enjoying my movement, I make sure even my works are going on simultaneously because everything is virtual. So that does not stop me from doing my commitments or I feel apologetic because I give it a priority, is what I believe. Okay, because and Toastmasters, why Toastmasters? Because Toastmasters has really helped me learn the leadership, learn, helped me to learn about communication, critical thinking, and I'm learning more and more because as I believe everyone up to the age of 21 or 24, we're done with our education and we are only with our routine lives. Maybe we are some are practicing, some are doing business, some are doing employment, whatever is it, we are in our routine lives. But I find Toastmasters is an allied activity and which is self-paced learning, which does not restrict your employment as well as your business, but you can do whenever you're free. Maybe and then you can play and you can hand out example. Okay, example, I'm the TEACON marketing chair, so I've been given a time. Okay, please do this, please do that, but nobody is like, okay, this minute you're going to do it. No, it's, I'm getting my time, I can do it. But if I don't do within that time, it means I'm just making stories. Maybe okay, once or twice, maybe I'm maybe busy or I couldn't do it. That shows, okay, yeah, is if I do 99% of the work and 1% is not done, then that shows that, yeah, that reason is accepted. But when I excuse 99% of the times, that's just you're finding reasons to just escape. Because I've seen at Toastmasters, I mean, I've seen Toastmasters in Tanzania and other places, there's few of them, people who are really serious at work are really serious at Toastmasters. People who are really committing at Toastmasters are really committing in work. So that is what I believe is just a work ethic. I just don't believe, but I don't feel really pressure or something. I don't know. I feel it's very simple, maybe because all the tasks are 1 to 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So it's just you have a week time with 1 to 2 minutes task. Still, I'm not able to do. I need to shoot myself, is what I
Please don't shoot yourself. Thank you so
believe.
much. Thanks so much, Atul. I appreciate that. Summary, before we go to the Q&A, do you have any other question for Harry or Atul?
Yes, I do. I do have a question for both. You know, in Ethiopia, as you, we have started working between Rotary and Toastmaster. I'm sure you are aware that Toastmaster and Rotary is affiliated now. Having as many Rotaracts in Ethiopia, young Rotaracts, we have demonstrated a meeting, a real Toastmaster meeting among Rotarians, and that is where the senior Rotarians grasp on what Toastmaster is doing, particularly for the young people. And at the same time, we took advantage of this platform by asking Rotarians, as Rotarians are mainly high professional business owners, to sponsor, Rotaracts to become Rotary, to become Toastmaster, the Rotaracts to become a Toastmaster. In fact, by number, Rotaracts are high in number than Rotary, and the activity they do is amazing. Very, very, prominent work for the country, for the youth. So, as much as we are trying to demonstrate Toastmaster within Rotary, what has been done from your end in Kenya as well as in Tanzania with these issues in making the connection between Rotary and Toastmaster. This goes for both of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me just answer the question. I think then maybe Robert, Harry, you can join. So yeah, in Tanzania, first I think Sanavit also was asking about the account opening. So I just shared my short experience in Tanzania. Yes, even initially we did not have an account in Tanzania because if you see the numbers, okay, let us leave Kenya apart because they are the king of Toastmasters. Okay, but when coming to Tanzania and Ethiopia, it is almost the same number. The same number, almost 150 to 200 members are practicing Toastmasters, be it Ethiopia and be it Tanzania. So let me just give you a small framework. You can, it is it is us, we should negotiate with the banks, because one of the members of our Toastmasters was of our Toastmasters club was from GTB Bank. I'm just giving you an example. She was from GTB Bank, so it's a Nigerian based bank. So then she has given an idea that yes, you can open account showing the documents of Toastmasters International, and then we just put it under society, and then as an NGO, and then we can finish it. It's just the relationship is what I believe, because banks have so many provisions, like how DTM Hari Karanja was saying. They have so many provisions. It's just how you build the public relations and the PR with the bank, and how you can request them, because maybe one bank is strict, another bank, but there is one bank which really will support you, or a cooperative bank, and that can really act as for depositing your Ethiopian birr, and as well as paying the USD to Toastmasters International. As I find paying renewal for the members in Ethiopia has been a tough time, but I think you can negotiate with bank and talk to them. Maybe they can charge an extra commission or something. So I think they will really make it happen. And the second question, what you were asking, was regarding Rotary and Toastmasters. Yes, we have some Rotarians in our Toastmasters clubs as well. But coming to that, we have never done the PR, because it's we as members of Toastmasters, we have to do presentations in Rotary clubs saying that what Toastmasters affects, even being a sister concern, that is an international agreement, but that does not ask them, or does not force them or pressure them to be a Toastmaster. So it is us, we can do soft level marketing, going to the Rotary clubs or the district of Rotary, and asking them to give a place in the event to speak about Toastmasters, to present Toastmasters, and to give some flyers about Toastmasters. And that's how, maybe inviting them to the open house events. So this would really brand Toastmasters in Rotary, and I think that will really help. And coming to the marketing and PR, as Ethiopia has a lot of population, and a lot of people who really are learning English and all. I believe it's all about the PR and marketing, because we have seen a tremendous growth in Tanzania within 3 years, because I think almost we got another 150 members now who are practicing Toastmasters, which are new. It's it's I believe it's all the marketing you have to do, conduct open house events, go to the corporates, and present yourself what Toastmasters is, and so that you can establish corporate clubs. There is an immense opportunity, is what I believe. So it's just how the Toastmasters, how active and how lively the Toastmasters in the country are, and they're representing. When you see I see the Nairobi, the people from Nairobi in Toastmasters are very active. They make sure they're attending all the meetings. They're going everywhere. So you can see every time there's a new club or something happening in Nairobi. So that's why, as Hari Karanja mentioned, numbers play a very key role, because when you have the numbers, you can command and you can ask for resources from the district. Thank you.
Harry?
Yeah, thank you, Samrawit. I love that question about Toastmasters and Rotary, because I had a personal experience with that, and I just like to start by agreeing with what Atul has said. I think in Swahili we have a saying, "Watu ni mali," and for those who speak Swahili, they'll know it means that people are wealth. Okay, so it what he said about reaching out and forming relationships with banks, and also using the inviting people to Rotary and doing having Rotarians invite you to the events is really taking advantage of watu ni mali. At the end of the day, real wealth comes from those relationships that people have. And I was telling you, I had a personal experience when I was district director. I engaged with the district governor of the Rotary district. I think it was, if I'm not wrong, it's well, I can't remember the number, but I'm sure you know it because it's the same district which is also in Ethiopia, the Rotary district. So we engaged with the district governor, and to the point where we were actually considering signing a memorandum of understanding on how we would support each other. The only hindrance we faced, or the challenge we faced, is when Toastmasters International put a stop to it and told us, no, you cannot make any local level agreements. You cannot enter into such memorandums of understanding at a local level. Wait for direction from Toastmasters International. And so we weren't able to codify the kind of relationship we were interested in, but we still got to do a lot together. I remember I was invited and I spoke at several Rotary events. We invited Rotarians to come and speak at Toastmasters events. Unfortunately, during my years when COVID happened, during the year I was to be the district director during the TEACON. So the invitations, the cross invitations for speaking at the convention didn't really happen because, that was the first time we had to do a virtual TEACON, and there was a lot which was still not yet finalized. So we weren't able to do what we wanted with Rotary. But that idea of inviting each other to the events, it might look like a small thing. It might seem that it's not making the headway you want. But those individual Rotarians you invite might have more influence, might have an outsized influence to bring the membership we want to Toastmasters, to go out and evangelize about what is happening at Toastmasters. And I think that's what we experience. They might even be the bank managers that you need to convince to give you the currency to pay for your memberships. So I'll say doing those small things, or rather what might seem small, in terms of inviting and letting Rotarians know what you're doing, and of course, giving them the space and the platform to also talk about Rotary, it really helps build those relationships. And through those relationships, you are able to achieve your broader goals.
Thank you very much, Atul and Harry. Yeah, I totally agree on the points that you mentioned. And I'm a strong advocate on the strong relationship, the tie that need to be made between Toastmaster and Rotary, because it is extremely advantageous for both entities. Thank you very much for sharing. And I believe we are going now to the Q&A, to the question and answer session. Back to you, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go to the question and answer session, I just remembered that it's Men's Month, and it's fantastic that we have two men as our guests today.
Yes.
So this is fantastic. Men, please, this is your month to feel special and feel entitled. Beyond this month, I'm not so sure. So yeah, please go full on, take advantage. Harry, this one is for you. There are much fewer men at Toastmasters than women. 10 marks. Explain. But actually, I guess my question is, why is it like this? And what can we do about it? We want men in Toastmasters.
I would say Atul is a problem. He's making other men be scared of joining. Yeah, all his energies is taking up the attention. But seriously, I don't know about those statistics. I didn't know that there is an imbalance. But I'll say everybody joins Toastmasters with a different objective. And of course, you might find the objectives of men and women could be different, but it doesn't mean that Toastmasters doesn't have something of value for men. Activities like moments of truth done by the clubs would help identify what it is that makes men, the men who are members, join the clubs and be active members. And from there, then you make sure you're giving them what they want. I'll tell you that because I mean, as you said, I was there in the early days of Early Birds. We made sure that we had activities that catered for everyone. And one thing that I love doing, and I encourage the club to do, is to have social activities where we engaged in something physical. You know, men like physical things. So if you organize something where we can go out into the, into nature, and we climb trees and we goof around a bit, we do some team building. Those are the things that men like. Those are the things that we liked. So we do have our regular meetings, but we took time to incorporate other social activities that still created these bonds, that still satisfied the individual needs of the members. And I think that's really what clubs should focus on, finding the needs of their members and making sure that the club is meeting those needs.
Okay, I like that. I guess we now need to start going back to climbing trees and mountains. I think we might have more men in our clubs. And Atul, maybe give us your opinion as well in terms of why you think this is the case or what we can do. Is it that women these days need, or rather women are more open to this kind of self-development more than men? Or in your experience, what do you think is the case and what can we do about it?
Yeah. Thank you. So I think it is a region problem, because the same question was inverted when I was attending a meeting in India. It was, I think, District 92. Okay, they were asking why women are not joining Toastmasters. Why? Because if you see in the Asian continent, you see men are more active and the women are only with the household, and most of them they don't work, so they're not active. But when I see in the East African region, women are very, very active, to be honestly true, and more than the men. And even in my club, I'm the only man in the executive committee. And I'm scared when I'll be beaten by them anytime. So I'm the only man. So I live in scared, and I live in the dungeons. So all my exco are women. But even in my club, I see most of them, we have a lot of women, like you say, 70-30, 70% are women and 30% are men. And that men are not so active also. I need to pull them every time. Please join the meetings. So, but I see women are very active. I think it's just a region thing. It's not just in Toastmasters. Even if you see what I find even in Tanzania, in the employment or even in the working, I see women are well thrived and women are leading the positions. And even you see our country is also headed by a lady president. So I think it's just a region. But I think as the whole world is going towards, let us support the woman child, let us women grow. But I think it's not for East Africa. You should do it inverted, because in the areas of America and Asia, already the men are leading there and men are having that comfort. But I think already women are having the comfort here. Here the men have to be supported, is what I believe. I think.
So maybe Harry could be right when he said you're scaring the men away. In your club, you're the only EXCO member. But hey, I didn't say that. I'm joking, Atul. I'm joking. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Danny,
Atul.
before you dive into the Q&A,
Yes,
I would like to
yes.
throw one question to both regarding the November men month. I'd like to ask you, as a successful leader and business owners, how do you prioritize mental and physical well-being? And what advice would you give other men balancing business pressure and health? Thank you very much. Atul?
Yeah, okay, sure. Thank you. So, yeah, I think, as I said, regarding physical health, yes, I think every day we should have some physical health. Our body is just like an engine. Just imagine you're having a Land Cruiser without not starting it for 2 months or 3 months. It's of no use. Maybe you can say it's a 5,000 cc or 6,000 cc. It does not work. But if you keep the engine working, that is when the car runs smooth. Similarly, our body is made to should do some physical exercise. And I believe maybe whether it's walking, running, jogging, swimming, or what a physical exercise is required to keep the body in momentum and as well as mental. I was always telling, as I was telling, emotional intelligence and being positive. And I feel meditation really helps me. So, as you know, like meditation helps me to recalibrate my brain, like to help me think more clearly, to help me more think more focused, and to prioritize. Because meditation is like just like every day you're just pressing F5, refreshing the computer. It's just like a F5 in your brain. It's meditation, and I believe some sort of exercise. I do barefoot walking. That really helps me to be active and healthy for life. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Harry?
Yeah, I mean, this is a real problem, especially in my sector, the legal sector. In law, we are problem solvers. So what happens is everybody brings their monkeys and dumps them on us. And then we're left with those monkeys to deal with. So it's a real problem amongst my profession, whereby people struggle with mental health. And it is more acute, especially for men. Of course, our societies do have a lot of programs where they encourage mental health awareness and they give opportunities for people to go and speak to professionals. But also individually, I advocate for physical health. Within our law firm, we organize for weekly runs. We like running a lot. It's a very inexpensive yet beneficial method of physical health. And, we even competed as a firm in the most recent Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. So this is something which I have found, I mean, it's also scientifically proven that if you do engage in physical activity, your body generates endorphins, which kind of combat issues. But I think it's also acknowledged that one of the best ways to tackle mental health issues is to talk. Talking, it's something that men struggle with, and maybe it goes back to Diane's earlier issue of there being more women than men in Toastmasters, because maybe women are just better capable of speaking, but it is definitely helpful. And the more vulnerable you can be when you talk, the better, because you're able to release some in that inner voice, you're able to give it expression. I have found, especially, that if someone gives an icebreaker and they really take time to prepare and give a good icebreaker and really speak about themselves, it is a very cathartic process. It's very mentally healthy to have an icebreaker. So I would encourage any man who is a member of a club and has not spoken for a long time to look at the opportunity to give a speech, especially a speech about themselves. The more vulnerable you are, the better you get to release those things. And it works towards your mental health. So I guess Toastmasters should be also considered one of the ways in which people can tackle mental health issues.
Wow. Thank you very much. This is an intake that not only men, but any human being should take from both of your comments. Indeed, mental health is one of the most priority for any human being. As you said, women tend to talk more than the men, vent it, and that is a way of releasing. And this, as you both said, you should come out of it, speak openly, and the platform is Toastmaster. Thank you very much, both of you, Harry and Atul. And now I think we'll dive to the Q&A. Diani?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Samrawit. We right now I first want to give an opportunity to the two people that are here. We have PQD Demelash and Hope Okeng. Do any of you have any questions for Harry or Atul, Hope or Demelash?
Hello, this is Hope.
Hi, Hope.
I don't have a question, but I
Okay.
just want to say that this has been a very insightful discussion. Just listening to Atul share his experience is very good to listen to. And then, of course, the other speaker, I'm sorry, is that Harry, right?
Correct.
Yes, talking about what men want. As a married woman, it's good to listen to the perspective of what a man wants from another man, because then they are telling the truth and you can sometimes see how you can change. Maybe there's something you can learn from it. And so for me, this has been a great discussion. And I'm sorry I couldn't put on my video. We don't have power here. But thank you so much for this. This has been a great discussion. Back to you, co-convener.
Thank you very much. Hope you are in Uganda, right? You're joining us from Uganda, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Welcome. It's really good to have you on the call. And PQD Demolish, do you have any questions for Harry or Atul?
Thank you so much, Danny. Nice to meet DT Mari Karanja and Toastmaster Atul. Just I have one question that would be, what is one thing that will inspire or excites you from for this TEACON 2025? So I want to hear that. What is the one thing that excites you from attending TEACON 2025? Over to you.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
who would like to go first? Okay, Atul.
Okay,
All right.
okay. So, as my name says, it starts with A, so I want to go first. Sorry, Harry. So, yeah, thank you, Dimilesh. Yes, I generally love traveling. For me, I love traveling. I traveled more than 30 plus countries. I love traveling. So I believe traveling, maybe you're traveling with friends, traveling alone is different. But as Toastmasters, we are a family. So we are traveling for a family reunion is what I believe. And that's how it really excites. Whether the reunion is great or bad, but it's the end of the day, it's the emotions we all are sharing. It's the reunion that really makes the TCON is what really excites me. That's why I was always present from TCON 2023, TCON 2024, and I'll be present at TCON 2025. And another thing, as I visited Kenya, I visited Uganda, and it also I want to visit Ethiopia. But along with visiting, we also are visiting the family of Toastmasters, and I would really want to explore the Ethiopian food, Ethiopian culture, Ethiopian architecture, and the places to see. And that is really I'm passionate. And out of all this, I'm really passionate about the architecture because wherever I go, I'm in the business of real estate and construction. So I just really want to visit the best star hotels or best monuments or anything where really the architecture is really put in. That really excites me. And as well as the TCON where we all gather together and party together. Thank you.
So I'll start where Atul left. And Ethiopian wine, aka Tej, is one of the big inspirations. I'm so surprised Atul didn't mention this, considering that he loves those fine things. I mean, I have been fortunate enough to be to Ethiopia twice now, but I can tell you, I still look forward to returning, and especially because now I'll be returning for a TEACON. Has been a long-held dream of mine that TEACON would finally come to Ethiopia, and for uh, me to come to Ethiopia when this is happening, it's really a dream come true. Samrawit, Demlesh, please know that I do not mind spicy food. So when I come there and I ask you to take me to all the, all the Ethiopian restaurants, please take me where you know the food is spiciest. But really, at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning, it's really the people who make Toastmasters special. And I'm looking forward to all the people I'll get to see, especially those who are in Ethiopia and who might not have been able to travel to previous TEACONs.
Definitely, we will take you all around the Ethiopian restaurant. And of course, even during the conference, you will taste some of the spicy Ethiopian food. And this will not be new for Atul because Ethiopian food and Indian food are very, very similar. We use the same kind of spices. So I'm sure you both will enjoy it.
Looking forward to it.
Good.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Okay, thank you so much for those questions, Demlesh. It was fantastic. Actually, that was going to be my parting shot. That was good. Basically, I was going to ask that exact question to Atul and Harry. So I'm glad you did that on our behalf before ending the session. Samrawit, I think I'll hand it over to Samrawit to close the session. But from my end, I'd just like to say, Harry and Atul, thank you for saying yes. I have seen a lot of comments on different platforms across Toastmasters saying that there's been a lot of learning here and it's been fun. And so we thank you for it. My takeaway from this session is that to have more men in the clubs, we need to have very active social activities. And so that's what I'm going to embark on. But also, of course, I would love to go to Addis. I am looking forward to going to Addis for TEACON. It's going to be amazing. So thank you, Harry. Thank you, Atul. And back to you, Samrawit.
Thank you, Diani, Atul, and Harry. This is a very inspiring session. I'm honored to be part of Toastmaster, and I'm a proud Toastmaster because we are able to meet such distinguished honor members within the district. And I'm sure your wisdom of this evening have inspired and touched the participants and those who are going to see it on the YouTube. It will inspire many young prospective Toastmasters in our district. I assure you, we will have the best TEACON conference in Ethiopia. Not only the conference, but with all kind of entertainments that we are preparing. It was a great pleasure having you this evening, and thank you very much for being part of this session. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, and good night to all of you. Thank you for having me.
Good night.
Thank you, all of you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Good
Diani.
night, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay.